And welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime, where I like to tell the stories of the real cucuys and lloronas of the world. I'm Audrey, a paralegal turned stay-at-home mom who loves true crime. The cases I cover are wild, topics may be triggering, viewer and listener discretion is very strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. With all that being said, grab your hot Cheetos and let's get started on today's case. In 1962, three men escaped from Alcatraz. The Anglin brothers, John or JW and Clarence Anglin, along with Frank Morris, were last seen alive on 9:30 p.m. of the Monday night of June 11th of 1962 and were reported missing Tuesday at around 7:15 p.m. These guys had a lot of time as a head start to flee, nearly all night and some of the morning. Talking about the famous island in the San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz, that used to be a federal prison. It was supposedly known to be inescapable, but the lie detector determined that that was not the truth. Not only by the various breakout attempts, but there are annual Escape from Alcatraz swimmers challenges. There are even daily guided assisted swims to and fro. You can pay to and from Alcatraz. You can pay for if you're interested in swimming in the extremely cold, shark-infested waters of the San Francisco Bay. A June 17th, 1902 Los Angeles Herald article reported that on June 16th of 1902, two Alcatraz cons doing construction on some road between Fort Baker and Sausalito assaulted their guards, beat them, took their rifles along with the ammunition and escaped. They booked it into the brushes. The military was called in because they were working on government property. Ferry boats from Tiburon and Sausalito were in pursuit. They were gone for an hour and made it out 6 miles until they were caught and recaptured. A whopping $30 per escapee was being offered as reward money. $30 in 1902 would be approximately $1,130 today. The article said one of the men's names was for sure Claw, or Clouh, the other Day or Philip. On September 24th of 1919, 17 prisoners at Alcatraz tried to escape. They were found by the wharves of the island. It was reported that several of the men were recently transferred from Fort Leavenworth in Kansas. They also had a history of trying to escape. In December of 1937, Jimmy Cole and Ralph Rowe, who were serving sentences for kidnapping, tried to escape from Alcatraz. They cut the bars in the prison shop and slipped away. They have never been seen again. Prison officials believe they drowned, but no one knows for certain. A year after that, 4 men who were in 4 bank robberies beat a guard to death and jumped off a 30-foot cliff trying to escape. One was shot to death by a guard in pursuit. One named James Borman drowned. 2 others were recaptured within an hour, and the 4th man was found hiding out on the island 3 days later. In 1945, John Giles tried to escape from Alcatraz. He stole a uniform and dog tags from an army sergeant. This disguise allowed him to calmly board an army boat headed to Angel Island. Thanks to a routine head count that revealed he was missing, he was recaptured as soon as he stepped foot onto Angel Island. A riot on May 2nd of 1946 consisted of a group of prisoners who secured guns and took control of Alcatraz for 2.5 days. Once the Marines were dispatched to help, they used deadly force to successfully carry out their mission. 3 cons were blown up by hand grenades, and that led the rest to surrender. 2 guards were murdered during the riot. On September 29th of 1958, Aaron Burgett and Clyde Johnson overpowered an Alcatraz prison guard and made a swim for it. Clyde was quickly recaptured after he was found hiding on the island, and Aaron's body was found floating in the bay 2 weeks later. In December of 1962, 6 months after the famous escape from Alcatraz, John Paul Scott tried to escape from Alcatraz too and nearly drowned. On the Golden Gate Bridge's shore, he was found by a group of teenagers that morning. John Paul had managed to slip out wearing handmade jail-made floaties. He used rubber gloves and swam from the island to the shore. During the swim, he blacked out from exhaustion and hypothermia. He survived and died behind bars in 1987. According to early reporting on the case, including a June 13, 1962 article by the Madeira Tribune, it describes the Traz as, quote, one of the world's most nearly escape-proof prisons, end quote. Ironically, this same article reported that 10 cons had drowned or been killed in attempts to escape. Two vanished in 1937 and were never seen again. During the 29 years Alcatraz served as a federal prison, it housed and fed 1,576 inmates. There were 14 escape attempts during those 3 decades that involved a total of 39 men. 26 were captured, 7 were shot and killed, 5 are still missing and considered unaccounted for. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers are among those 5. Alcatraz, like most things in the Bay Area, was expensive. In 1959, it cost $10.10 per day to house an inmate, compared to $3 a day in Atlanta. In today's money, it would be $112 compared to $33. Despite these costs, the warden prided himself over serving quote-unquote good food at the prison, and the inmates had the freedom to grab second or third helpings of the food if they wished. This was his solution to fights over food, which was a common occurrence.